Yo, I wanted to come on here and explain my philosophy of theme. I've been developing this theory for a couple months now, and some friends asked me to make a video. And this philosophy of theme that I have completely changed my life. And now that started to introduce it to people, I think it's slowly started to revolutionize theirs as well. In our current age, there are so many things we could be. So many. We could do crypto, drop shipping, day trading. You could do AI websites. The possibilities of who you could be, what you can do, and where you could go are genuinely endless. And with that, it becomes really daunting and terrifying, to be honest. And I was caught in this predicament, right? I think when we think about what we want out of life, a lot of us, for the most part, have grandiose goals, right? It's we want to become a musician at the highest level, or we want to become a painter at the highest level, or we want to be worth $1 billion via the stock market. And the thing with all of these is that they are goal based, objective based, and title based. And you will never find fulfillment through these measures, through these metrics, through these labels. And that is where the philosophy of theme comes into play. And this is why I will explain. And we're going to take the example of a musician. We have a musician, and their entire goal in life is to perform, to spread their message via song to the world. And no matter what they do, things aren't clicking out. They aren't getting the streams they want, the recognition. Nothing seems to pan out. And it seems like it's not panning out because of the quantifiable objective frame that we put everything in. He only has a couple thousand streams on Spotify. He only has a couple hundred views on YouTube. He is a failure by every count of the measure. However, if we flip the paradigm and the musician asks himself, what is my theme? And he says to himself, my theme is that I want to be creative. My theme is that I want to perform. My theme is that I want to spread my message. As soon as you label your theme with something, the entire conversation switches. Because it's no longer, am I a great artist by these metrics? It becomes, am I living my theme? Am I living my purpose? Right? And when the conversation becomes like that, you start to remove all the strings, constraints, all the things that were making you seem like a failure, seem like you didn't have a journey, because now it's all about your theme. So now that same musician asks himself, am I living my theme of creativity? And he asks himself, well, I'm making 5 songs a week. I'm going to the local park and playing my guitar. I'm getting better at the piano and the drums and the violin. I am expressing myself better through my music. And he tells himself, I am living my theme. Immediately, he is now a success. All this validation that came into play, that, oh, he only has a couple thousand streams, all of it is gone because he changed the ruler, what he was measuring himself by. Instead of measuring himself by numbers, he began to measure himself by theme. Am I living my life's theme? And when you measure your life by theme, everything changes. I promise you on that. Everything changes in your life when you develop your theme. So my dear question to you guys, my dear friends, viewers, is what is your theme? What is your theme? And it's a difficult question, and it's really confusing at times. And this is the way I would think about it. If you were going and you were transported to your deathbed, and you're 80 years old, you're on a ventilator, you're on a hospital bed, and you reflect back on your life, what would make you feel satisfied, accomplished? What would that be? It would never be, oh, I made $30 billion. No. It would never be, I had 100 million streams. No, it wouldn't be that. You would quantify your life by whether or not you sought out and accomplished what you wanted to do, right? So I would look back at my life and be like, I wanted to start a humanitarian organization. I wanted to impact thousands of people's lives. I wanted to spread peace, positivity, happiness. Did I do that? Yes or no? See, I'm not really quantifying it by how big was my nonprofit? How big did my YouTube channel get? I'm quantifying it by my morality, my theme, the measure of which I live my life, right? And when you're able to identify your theme, you have what you need, right? So let's say you go and you figure out your theme. And let's say someone's theme is that their theme is fashion. They really care about fashion. They love clothes. They love the way that you can express yourself. They love the pastels and the colors and the silhouettes and the fashion houses and the industry behind it. Their theme is fashion. Now, instead of identifying themselves by how many pieces of clothes have I sold, or how many fashion shows have I been to, or how many times have I walked up and down the runway, they ask themselves now, how well am I living my theme of fashion? And they'll ask themselves, well, this week I only auditioned for one thing. This week I only sewed one piece of garments. This week I only did this. And then they ask themselves, how well did I leave my theme this week? And they answer with, I didn't leave my theme that well. I wasn't living my theme. And that is their objective reality now. It's not, I made $100,000 this month through fashion. I reached 10,000 people on Instagram this month. That's bullshit. That doesn't matter. It's not real. What is it? You know what I'm saying? It's how well am I living my theme of fashion? How well am I getting into myself and the world that I have created within me? And when you measure everything by your theme, the wonders of what will happen is spectacular. Now, I want to kind of segue, because I think you're starting to get what I'm picking up on. But there's a lot of advantages about exclusively following your theme. The first one I'm thinking about is that you completely eliminate the noise and distractions. When you understand your theme is fashion per se, you're not going to go and try to pursue a corporate job. You're not going to want to go and pursue music because you understand your theme is fashion. And by understanding your theme is fashion, you're going to stay within that fashion realm, that fashion world. Maybe it might be as a model on the runway. Maybe it might be designing clothes. Maybe it might be reviewing what fashion houses, what they've done, what they've produced, right? All of these fall under the umbrella of the theme of fashion, but they're all in that umbrella. And because they're all in that umbrella of theme, they all begin to have synergy with one another. It's not like, oh, Monday through Friday, I'm doing my 9-to-5 corporate strategy job, and on the weekend, I'm designing clothes. Those things don't blend together. They don't have synergy. They don't mesh. However, if I am, like I said before, designing clothes, reviewing clothes, making clothes, selling clothes, looking through magazine catalogs, you know what I'm saying, getting inspiration from the clothes, All of those things are related to my theme and begin to build off each other. And the more things you have in your life that are similar, related, correlated, everything starts to develop, build itself up, and goes from there. That's the first thing I want to say about the benefits of theme. Secondly, and I think the most important thing, you have a totem pole. A totem pole in which you can aim for. And it makes everything so much easier, right? Because you can begin to ask yourself, I'm out here making this much money doing this, but is it advancing me towards that totem pole? And if it's not, you know definitively what you need to do next. That's the beautiful thing about theme. I'll give you guys a little bit of a story about myself. I went and I graduated college, and everyone around me was working in investment banking, consulting, tech, and by association, I began to want to do that also. I wanted to follow them. I wanted to be like them. For that first year out of postgrad, all I did was apply to jobs, interview, and I got nothing. And in the moment, I was really devastated by this. I was distraught. I felt like a failure watching all my friends working these six-figure jobs and I was doing nothing. I couldn't even get just to the start line. After that, I began to ask myself these questions. I started to ask myself, Mood, what are you living for? What do you want to achieve? What would make you fulfilled? What would make you feel like a superhero? What would make you feel happy? And I realized it's to help other people. It's to advance society forward, not just for a few people, for everyone. It's to be a true humanitarian. That was my theme. And as soon as I developed and understood what my theme was, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to represent, what I wanted to accomplish, I started a nonprofit. I was able to start a business. I was able to land a job. I was able to work and connect and network with people in that theme as well. And that all was simply possible by just understanding what my theme was. And as soon as I put a label on it and began to work towards it and advance towards it, everything started to fall into place. And what was beautiful about that is everything was connected to one another. It wasn't like I was working a tech 9 to 5 and then trying to do my humanitarian stuff. That stuff doesn't mesh. It doesn't connect. It doesn't fit in the puzzle. But when I'm doing all of these things that are under the umbrella of humanitarianism, they kind of mesh together. The people that I was meeting in my business began to start helping me in my nonprofit. The people that I started to meet in my network around the humanitarian stuff began to give me advice that I can connect to other places and advance myself and go towards. And it all started building towards one another. My biggest thing, my dear viewer, my friends, the people watching, is you need to figure out what your theme is. And once you understand that, you need to relentlessly push towards it. Relentlessly push towards that theme to get closer to it. And the only metric you need to identify yourself with, the only thing you need to ask yourself is, am I living my theme? That's it. It's not how much money do I have in the bank? How pleased is my family with me? How do my friends perceive me? No, none of that matters. It's all external. It's all superficial, fugazi. Am I living and working towards my theme? That's it. And it's that simple. It's that simple. And if you are working towards your theme and advancing towards it and trying your best to embody that theme that you resonate with, then you're doing your job. You don't need to stress. You don't need to worry, because you're doing what you're meant to do. You're filling out your life's passion. So, I encourage everyone, identify your theme and never look back. And only pursue things under the umbrella of that theme. And then it'll all start to click, I promise you. I promise you. When you pursue your theme and the umbrella that encapsulate your life of theme, everything will start to go together, mesh, blend, and it'll all fall into place. That's all I really have to say about theme. I have started to develop this over the past couple of months, and it's really changed the way I view everything. I wish for all of you guys to find your theme, because when you do, it's liberating. You figure out where your finish line is. You figure out what you're fighting for. And I think that's the purpose of it all. In this busy, confusing, strange life, it's what are we going towards? And if we have something that can give us that purpose, it makes everything all the easier. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.